Welcome back guys, another NVM vlog, and in this vlog we've got the S55 M2 in for a bit more work. So NVM M2 Competition, S55 engine, already stage 1 tuned. If you've seen in the previous vlogs, no hardware modifications, ran just over 500 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque. Did a quarter mile in 11.6 and 0 to 60 is about 4 seconds, so it's performing really well. And obviously the development that we do on the S55s in general is based upon what we do on our own vehicles. But we're taking it further today. We are going stage 2, so we're going NVM downpipes, intakes, charge pipes and a full exhaust system from Scorpion. This is Scorpion's latest exhaust system. It is a carbon Daytona, so it's carbon sleeve Daytona tips, and it is probably the best sounding exhaust you can get for the S55s. As you're probably aware, S55s do have funny raps to it. People make all sorts of modifications to the exhaust system to get it to sound like an M55, but it's not possible, purely down to 2 turbos. If you imagine it as a 3 litre with 2 turbos, it's literally 2 1.5 litre engine turbocharged, creating the noise at different times in the range. So as with any level of tuning on stage 2, we need to remove the catalytic converters and OPF. So this vehicle is OPF equipped, as all S55s from 2019 were. That includes the M3 and M4 models as well, and all new BMWs basically. And that reduces the amount of power we can run, simply because of the back pressure involved with them OPF filters. So we're going with a full Scorpion exhaust system, which removes the OPF with the OPF delete mid pipe, with a new iterated X pipe, so it reduces any kind of resonance. We've also got NVM shielded downpipes, which are proven heat proof and reduce engine bay temperatures and heat soak in general. And we've got some aluminium intakes as well. The charge pipe upgrade is a worthy upgrade as well. These are our own NVM aluminium charge pipes, fully aluminium, with one piece mandrel bent aluminium construction, and they are back in stock. So if you head over to the online shop, you can buy all of this through the shop. Exhaust is off, stock downpipes are off. Putting the NVM shielded downpipes on. Just show you the exhaust system, the GPF system, as per pre-GPF vehicles, M3, M4 as an example, it would be pretty much the same without these petrol particle filters. When we stage 2 tune, we get rid of the GPFs, get rid of the downpipes, and as you can see on the downpipes themselves, there's a little pressure sensor pipe, and these pressure sensor is to monitor the back pressure to enable the amount of soot, or the car to see the amount of soot in the GPFs before it enables slightly richer mixture, higher EGTs to burn the soot out. So yeah, let's get the exhaust on, the Scorpion full system with the GPF delete, and intakes on, charge pipes, and get mapping. So that's the shielded S55 NVM downpipes fitted. Obviously it reduces engine bay temperatures with reduction in heat soak thanks to the thermal heat shielding itself. It's 76mm in bore, and it reduces down to the catback system, which is a GPF delete on the Scorpion, to twin 70mm, which then goes through this nice X pipe which has been manufactured to reduce that resonance and that rasp you get, and then it goes to the back box with quad carbon trims. It also runs the OEM valve system, so it works as OEM, so the efficiency, Sport and Sport Plus work as they should do on the stock system, and I think it's one of the best sounding systems you can get for the S55s, thanks to their thought about the X-pipe and the back box system and the valves itself. So let's get it down and started. Intakes and charge pipes are on 76mm in diameter with an open cone air filter. It does utilise a stock lower airbox, so it gets a good gushing of cool air from the front grills down to the lower airbox itself. NVM charge pipes, full aluminium construction. This is powder coated in a nice metallic blue to match the vehicle, and obviously stock charge cooler for now. We will be upgrading that at a later date, but all around these are the modifications that are required for a basic stage 2 setup on an M2 Competition. Strapped down to the dyno, we've left the ignition and boost exactly as it was in stage 1, but we've turned off the GPF and the downpipe decat emission light, so we'll see what it produces at the base before we start making incremental changes. So power is almost exactly the same, just over 500 brake horsepower and about 720 newton meters of torque. So well within the same tolerances as before, and with the added or the reduction in back pressure from the exhaust system, it seems like the turbo is slightly over boosting, so ignition timing is being pulled because of that. Lambda targets now can actually be run slightly greater so that we can add a bit more ignition time in and see what we can achieve with the less restrictive exhaust, downpipe, GPF, and see what we can achieve today. So if we take a quick look at the data log from that run, basically it was our stage 1 target. We put a torque cap and a boost cap in there when we were stage 1 tuning, and that's what allowed it to grip on the road beautifully and kind of make a good and impressive quarter mile and 100 to 200 time. But as you can see, this green line here is the throttle body. So as I've gone full throttle on the dyno, the throttle body hasn't allowed full throttle, 100% throttle, and that's purely down to the turbocharger over boosting. Even though we put a boost cap and a torque cap in there, the turbo naturally overboosts because of the less restriction post turbine, and that's what causes that overboost condition, which in turn closes the throttle body, or the ECU closes the throttle body. As I've covered so many times in other vlogs, adding bolt-ons to the vehicles without proper tuning can cause a hell of a lot of issues from turbocharger overshooting. You know, you can get a lean condition, etc. But yeah, we'll try and best use this torque limitation, reduce the amount of boost it creates at that given time to kind of get it within tolerance before we start increasing limitations and start tuning. So nice stage 2 base run, so this is just under 19 PSI of boost, and you can see the gains available just by the free flow of exhaust and intakes. It made just under 520 horsepower, 740 newton meters of torque, so we know we're aiming in the right direction. There's zero timing pull at this moment in time, and there is nothing that seems alarming or for our concern. So the main benefits obviously is the allowance for a greater exhaust gas temperature and a richer AFR now that the GPF and the downpipes, original downpipes, have been taken off. So now we're going to taper up the boost as slowly, incrementally as possible and see how it performs and see what we can achieve with the turbos at their maximum efficiency range. So we're not going to go full out 2 bar of boost, but we are going to get it as maximally efficient based upon the charge temperatures and ignition timing. Final results today: maximum boost settings and ignition timing based upon what we see as most efficient on 99 RON fuel is 563 horsepower and 811 newton meters of torque. If you have a look at the power graph, we have literally followed the boost taper based upon stage 1 but added more of it, and you can see the delta gain. It would be a very impressive and quick car, but I am concerned about traction. To get us fast vehicle in quarter miles, 100 to 200, it ain't always about big numbers, and this is what we're trying to achieve based upon grip and traction. What I'm going to do now is reduce the peak boost at 3000 RPM so we don't get that initial amount of torque, and put a torque cap in there and boost by gear so that we can make a very quick stage 2 setup. So we'll see what we can achieve just by toning things down a little now that we know the limitations of the turbo and the ignition timing and knock prevention, and we'll see what we can achieve. There's hundreds of tables that we change to manipulate and allow for maximum power and torque on any given car, and this is what allows us to make a car more drivable and quicker in the real world rather than just on a dyno. So yeah, with all these changes, let's see if we can reduce that overall power and torque and see what we can achieve for a all-round, you know, daily driven stage 2 vehicle. Final results again today. As I said before, we have reduced the amount of torque in all gears. So first and second gear, we put a 700 newton meters of torque cap in there, and third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh, we've actually tapered the boost as best we can, and that gives a nice linear power curve and a nice linear torque curve as well. You can see the delta gain between a stage 1 and stage 2, and knowing the limits of the turbocharger now, we can now be assured that we are within tolerances, so the car is consistent back to back on the dyno and also very consistent on the road. But what we're going to do now, you might think this is the end of the vlog, but it isn't, because what we're going to do now is start development on our DKG7 7-speed DCT custom transmission ECU mapping. So the stage 2 S55 isn't news to you guys. As you know, we tune them all day long, but having our own project car allows us to find limitations. We could actually chuck some race fuel or E85 in there and tune that specifically and increase the horsepower furthermore. But what we wanted to do is keep it within its turbo efficiency range before we upgrade the turbochargers. Obviously, we've done a cold start delete, we've activated burbles so it's in all modes and at a certain RPM. So these are the kind of standard procedures that we do on our stage 2, especially the S55, because they do lack in character due to the exhaust note. So I think that Scorpion exhaust does make a massive difference. As you've seen from the other vlogs, our N55 big turbo stage 3 car has done a 10.9 quarter mile, and we wish to better or achieve greater than that from this setup, and the only way we're going to do that is by precise tuning. As you can see, we did boost by gear, first, second gear limited, and we've also put a boost taper in third, fourth, fifth and sixth and seventh. But we have started development on the gearbox tuning. It is a brand new platform for us. Obviously this gearbox is very advanced anyway, and there isn't much to change. So we are going to make some changes to the internal torque limit in the gearbox, increase clamping pressure, and also optimize shift patterns for launch control and daily driving. Obviously this kind of development isn't new. We have done it throughout all the vehicles that we've done, but the DKG7 has been one that we've been waiting for. So this is something that we've got to develop on and off the road, on the drag strip, and you know, on track more than anything. So it's not something that we test on the dyno specifically, but we've already increased the clamping pressure to allow for the maximum torque allowance without any throttle closure and torque intervention. But as you know, this is how we do the development. So furthermore to that, we'll plug it in now, we'll go through the software, we'll see what changes are available and what they specifically do before we start making some changes and taking it for a test drive. Hopefully we can get some 100s to 200s, get the car on a quarter mile and get it on track to do some further testing. Looking at the previous vlogs, spending